Well, I don't know if I should call this a productive week or not. I have been busy all week, but I don't feel like I got very much accomplished. But sometimes that's just how it goes. So I finished this sweater. My yarn came, so I was able to do the other sleeve. I got it all put together. I have not tried it on because I know it's not going to look good on me just because of the shape of the sweater. And so that's finished. It's very heavy. Maybe if I lived where we got an occasional snowstorm, maybe. But like I said last week, I have a very tall niece that might be able to put this to some use. So that is one project finished. Then I spent most of the week trying to figure out these mosaic patterns. Because I believe I told you that I wanted to do like a sampler style blanket and trying to get the pattern repeats of the different sections of it to line up. So I spent a lot of time messing with that. No 3:30 in the morning days, so I didn't get that carried away with it again. But so I had a whole bunch of like, let me test it out type of projects just to see if I liked it, what stitches I wanted to use. Now, like these, I love the colors. I like this, but I didn't like that in the middle. I didn't necessarily care for that too much. And I definitely didn't care for that. But I love the colors. And another little sample swatch. And another. And another. And this one I started and didn't keep going with the pattern. And then I said, all right, I have a couple that I think I like. So let me see if I expand it, if I can make it work out. So I made an even bigger swatch. And the only one I really don't care for on this one is this. But looking at it in the camera, it doesn't look that bad. And I wasn't sure if I liked this or not, but it really shows up nice on the camera. It shows up better on camera than it does with me looking directly at it. Maybe it's the angle I'm at. I'm not sure. But this one was my favorite, which is pretty simple. So yeah, that was a bigger one where I wanted to see if I could make the repeats work out right. And then I thought, well, do I just want to do basic geometric patterns, or can I try and do some like shapes and figures? So I tried to make a bird, eagle, hawk, phoenix, I don't know. And then I was like, does it matter if it faces left or right? So I tried it with having a striped background. And then I tried it with some DK yarn where I did 2 birds to see if the pattern repeat works. And then a border, but then my green did a color change, not in the most appropriate of places, but it's just a sample. I just wanted to see how it was going to work. And then I was going to switch from the solid background to a striped background. And then I ran out of this color yarn. So that sample stopped. So I spent a lot of my time this week playing with patterns and samples. And after doing all that, and I was trying to stick to using my scrap yarns because they are just samples. I'm not going to be able to do anything with them. I had some other yarns that I needed to wind up into cakes. So I spent a little time doing that, which was fine. Because you know how the skeins will get and all of a sudden they start to collapse on themselves. And then the tangles start real easy. And I was trying to avoid that by caking them up. So I'm cranking and everything's going fine till you get to the knot. And you need 3 hands because you're holding the crank and you're holding the yarn and you keep your tension and everything is fine. And then when you have to let go of one of them or both to work on the tangle, then your little cake doesn't work out right. So I fought with that for a little while, but I got all those pieces caked up. And then I decided with the colors that I have to work with, which not too many of them go together, at least not in the, you know, like my favorite colors are the ones that I really like. And so I had a couple of shades of purple and a couple of shades of gray. And so I actually started a blanket. So, and I wasn't sure if I should add the dark purple in or not. And I'm not even sure if it's going to show up purple on camera. Usually purples look blue. Well, that looks purple. But I started with the lilac, and this color gray is steel. And this is just yellow. It's kind of a pale yellow. Then I said, well, let me throw in a darker purple, which to me, with the colors being darker than the light with the dark, and it's kind of like 2 darks together, the pattern looks a little different, even though it's exactly the same. So the next section is going to be the light purple again, and then the little divider strip, and then we'll go back to the dark purple. So I just chose that one that I ended up really liking. But now that I see those samples on camera, there's a few others that I like that turned out more interesting than I thought. So, but yeah, this is what I have spent my week on pretty much. And so this is an ongoing project, one finished project, and I didn't touch my Tony sweater. I should have, because if I finished it, I could have wore it last night. Last night, I went out with my son. Ooh, big date. His birthday was this month, and he turned 28, making me feel really old. But he is 28. His little boy is a year old now. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty old. But his wife, for her work, got to go to Vegas. And I'm like, I want to go to Vegas. I've never been to Vegas. I would love to go to Vegas. But I always said when I go, I want to spend somebody else's money because I would hang out in the casinos all the time. So last night, we took a break and we went out. We met up at the Hard Rock Cafe in Tampa at the casino. He played a little bit of blackjack, and I played my slot machines that I like to play, except I don't have the game that I like anymore, but they had one that was similar. And yeah, so I sat there playing that, and every now and then I'd get up and go check on him, and he'd come over and check on me, and he brought his friend with him. And his friend was so funny. He was like, I bought one mixed drink and a beer, and it was $25. And like, I'm not a drinker, so I don't know if that's like football stadium prices or if that's like a normal price anymore. But I mean, I seem to remember getting a mixed drink was like $5 or $6. But yeah, I'm not a drinker at all. So I don't know, but I'm like, yeah, no, that's not even a place you can go just to hang out and have a few drinks with friends. I mean, you'd spend less money doing the gambling than you would doing the drinking. But yeah, so I'm playing this machine that's similar to the one that I like, and I hit for all 6 numbers. Now, if it was the game that I like that they no longer have, those 6 numbers would have been $5,000. But this game, it was like they do credits, so it was a little confusing. Instead of like saying, oh, you matched 3 and you win $2 or whatever, it says you got 2 credits or 3 credits or 5 credits or whatever. So my whole machine lights up, and I have all 6 numbers on this card, and I have 4 numbers on this card, 5 numbers on this one, 4 numbers on this one. So old game, I would have been walking out there banking out. I could have bought me a ton of yarn. But no, not there. Not that game. They've made so many changes that it's not fun anymore. I mean, I haven't been in like 5 years, and we just decided to go because if, his wife can be in Vegas, we can be at the Hard Rock. So we went, but we had a good time. And, he walked out, he broke even, other than the couple of drinks that they had. And yeah, I didn't break even, but I didn't lose the bank. So I still left with money in my pocket. I only go with what I can afford to lose. And if I win, great. If I don't, I'm not out that much because, credit cards and all that kind of stuff, you leave at home so that you're not tempted. But yes, that was a nice little break. I had a good time. He had a good time. And that's all that counts. And not to mention, we got to spend some time together, which since he lives, a couple hours away, we don't really get to see each other that often. And he's never been one to really stay in contact, and neither have I. So it was good. It was good. And we're going to plan on doing it again. Not soon, because I don't want to lose my money all the time. I have better things to do with my money than just give it to the casino. So I signed up to be a pattern tester for someone, and it's my first time ever doing that. And I did it because the blanket is really cute. It's a lot of color work. It's a Grafgan. I'm hoping it comes with the chart and written instructions, because if the chart is really big, the little blocks will come out really small and makes it hard to count. Normally I prefer the chart, but in a case like that, when it's something big like that, I think the written instructions would be very helpful. So hopefully that's how it ends up. I'll know in like a week or so. And then you're on a deadline. So, but it's like the end of March. That'll be like 2 months. I should have no problem with that. Basically, I just wanted to see how it was done and what was involved with, using pattern testers or being a pattern tester. And we all are constantly learning, and that will be something new for me. And I mean, because one day I would actually like to maybe do written patterns. So experience being a pattern tester would be helpful for me for that, because like if I felt confident in it enough in writing a pattern and then asking someone, hey, would you make one of these and test it out for me, see if it makes sense, another avenue to go down. And I think it'll be a fun experience for me. And I'll end up with a nice blanket out of it. So, like I said, Christmas is coming. Then the other thing that I did work on this week was, of course, my temperature blanket. But that you don't get to see yet because there's still one more day this week. And That's how it goes. And then, did you know that Joann's was having this huge yarn sale? Like, hello. I was looking at their website, and Lion Brand skein tones, like if you're into the amigurumi and you're making the little dolls and stuff, they have the different colors that would look like skin tones. But on Lion Brand's website, they're like $5.99 or $6.99, something like that. Joann's has them for $2.99. And they had a lot of their stuff that was pretty inexpensive. So, yeah, I was bad. I placed an order. But my stash over there is getting a little low. You know, once I finish this one, I'll have plenty of room over there. But yeah, so I placed an order, but I have a project in mind for it. I did not just order yarn to order yarn. And when I finish this one, I'm going to start on that one. I would like to finish my Tony cardigan before I start another new project so that I don't have big choices to have to make. Do you know how to do mosaic overlay crochet, or is that something that you would be interested in learning? There are, I have an Etsy shop that has absolutely nothing to do with crochet, but there are so many cool patterns on Etsy for some really freaking fancy mosaic crochets. And, you know, not just a sampler style like these, but like you can make a picture of a cat. Like a real cat, not a cartoon cat like that behind me, but a real cat or a real dog or a real person, not cartoony all the time. I just want to know what program they're using where they take the picture, because you know it's from a picture. They take the picture and they load it in and it makes the chart for them. Because Stitch Fiddle does not do that for mosaic. You can do it for a regular Graphghan, but not for the mosaic. But there has to be a program out there, because there is no way that they come out looking that good from someone sitting there manually saying, this one's the drop down double crochet, this one's a single crochet. But anyways, that's beside the point. But if you know what program that is, you could let me know in the description down below. That would be hugely helpful, because you can like get some real creative stuff out of that. I mean, they're so pretty. They're interesting. It's not your normal crochet. You know, like if you were to go to a thrift store and you looked at their blankets, and you usually see granny squares or stripes or chevrons. And I love granny squares, but usually it's just the plain old regular granny square and nothing special about it. Just, you know, ordinary. And the same thing with the other things. They're just stripes. There's nothing unique about it. Like somebody did a bunch of double crochet stripes, which is fine, you know, but we all start somewhere. But you get things like this, you're not going to find these in a thrift store. Not now anyways. Maybe 20, 30 years from now, you might see stuff like that coming up in a thrift store, because then it's going to become like really common. But now, no. If you're a non-crocheter, unless you know someone who crochets, you're not going to get your hands on one. But like I said before, Christmas comes every year, and these are so nice. They're different. The person receiving your gift is going to think it's super special, and they're just really nice. If you're interested in learning mosaic, you can click right here.